Tesla has just released FSD V14, and there are so many videos out there of this software doing some crazy stuff. It really looks like the cars are actually thinking. I want to show you a series of videos to drive home this point, and then tell you why this is such a huge deal in so many different ways. This is a video from Chris at Dirty Tesla on X, and also Dirty Tesla on YouTube. And this video is going to show his car automatically navigating through a drive-thru, and the car will automatically know when it needs to stop, where it needs to stop, and when it needs to go. I'm gonna let this video play in full because it really is just completely mind-blowing, and I have even more videos that show different situations where the car is doing something equally crazy.
No way.
Hi, welcome to Wendy's. We'll be using our mobile rewards today.
No thanks, I'll just take a small fry.
Small fry?
Yep.
Would you like to donate $1 to help children in foster care today?
No thank you. No thank you.
Can wait 264 second window, thank you.
Alright, thank you. Oh my gosh, and then it does move up. How? How does it know? How does it know? Alright, now you gotta get up to the window though. Alright, so it'll stop at the window.
Hi, 264.
There you go. Oh my gosh. How will it know when to go?
Don't leave without your card.
Thank you. It's not me. Not me leaving. Oh my gosh. It's still, how does it know?
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
I
Oh my gosh, I didn't roll up the window or anything. How does it know? What the hell's going on in this place?
I still can't believe how nuanced this interaction is. And the way Tesla has taught this car how to do this is really the game-changing thing. For example, when it approaches the kiosk, there's no visual clues. There's nothing that says that, hey, the order is done being placed. The only way it can know that is by using the microphones, right? The microphones to hear the conversation. So what this likely means is that the car is able to process audio around the car, and then once the conversation is done, it knows when to move forward. I can't think of any other way that the car would have decided to do that. The reason why that's such a big deal is because Tesla hasn't specifically trained for that behavior. There isn't somebody out there that's like sitting down and coding and says, hey, if you're a drive-through window and somebody's placing an order, wait until they say thank you, or wait until they say, okay, you may go, I got your order, or whatever. You know, the thousands of different ways you can place an order at a kiosk. The way this car has learned, theoretically, how to do this is by taking millions and millions of hours of driving data, using the cameras and the microphones of current Tesla owners driving around, and all that data has been thrown at an AI brain, and the AI brain has processed that information, and it has figured out how to be like, okay, so it looks like when a human is talking to this thing, and then it seems like when they say thank you, and then there's a little bit of a silence after it's followed by the person that's taking the order by saying, you may go to the window or something like that, that's probably when I should move forward. And it has seen that likely happen millions of times. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to start doing that in the car. That approach that I just described is how Tesla has trained its entire driving stack using artificial intelligence in the physical world to execute actions. Most likely, this is still like not 100% confirmed with this specific interaction. That's how they did it, but I can't think of any other way the car would have done it. There's no other cues. It's just a conversation between Chris and a wall. Let's keep watching the video because this happens again, but in a different context. So now that Chris's car is approaching the window, again, the car is automatically knowing that there's somebody at the window using that side camera it has in the car. It's seeing the interaction between Chris and the person, I'm guessing, the person at the window. You see, now he got the back, he didn't get his card yet. So now he's waiting for his card to come. Now that he has a card, now it goes. Okay, let's watch, like, again, I can't believe it. I can't believe this is real. The car goes forward. He has got a card in his hand. He gives the card to the person taking the order. The person takes the card. Then the person gives them the bag of food. But the car knows between the conversation and the interaction and the fact that he hasn't gotten his card yet that, hey, I shouldn't go, because the car could just go now without Chris's card. But it's waiting until the transaction is complete. Chris has his card, and then it goes. That's insane. Again, that was not specifically coded into the self-driving code. That's something that the cameras and the microphones, through an AI brain, figured out that is probably what they should do. That's called emergent behavior. That's like a very weird, nerdy way of saying that the AI is figuring out how to do things that you didn't specifically train it for. Here's another video I want to show you. This is from Zach at BLKMDL3. This is the car leaving a Century City Mall parking garage where FSD goes to the exit, pulls close along the ticket booth, and then it waits for the ticket to be inserted and then proceeds. Let's go ahead and watch this video. Again, that's another example where the car is thinking about the situation. It knows that it's at a parking garage. There are many situations where these vehicles have encountered a situation where they have to back up. They have to go in reverse because there's no way forward. In this case, it knows that the blockade that it has in front of it is temporary and it requires waiting for somebody to lift the blockade. And so it probably knows that the stop sign here, this booth here, the yellow bar here, that's all context for the car to know that this is a parking garage, and then it's going to wait until the person puts the ticket in, and then the car will continue forward. And so to reinforce the point of how this is trained, there isn't somebody sitting down and typing, hey, this is how a parking garage functions. The company has collected millions of hours of data around parking lots and parking garages and how people behave in those parking garages, what actions they do, what they don't do, more importantly. And all of that becomes a training set for these cars to behave in this way. It's very similar to how things like ChatGPT have been trained, or Grok. And I'm sure a lot of you that watch this video have used ChatGPT before. How could you have not? There's like 800 million active users or something globally. It's crazy. Those chatbots have been trained with entirety of human knowledge. They've dumped it into an AI brain. The AI brain has learned about human knowledge and how it interacts and how people talk and how people go back and forth and how people think, more importantly. And then it creates a result in the digital world by typing out things, or with the video generators by creating some sort of art using video, or some freakish stuff using video, let's be honest sometimes. But now this is a manifestation in the real world. The physical cars are doing this by creating actions of forward, backwards, left, and right, or stopping and waiting for an interaction to finish. It's really the very same approach, but it's in the physical world versus the digital world. Here's another example. This is a video from Sawyer Merritt at Sawyer Merritt on X. 2 police cars came up behind me tonight with flashing lights and sirens while I was using Tesla's FSD V14 in my Model Y, and FSD pulled to the side of the road until they passed and it was safe to continue. So as you can see, FSD is activated by seeing this blue thing on the car here. Sawyer's not touching anything in the car. And then as you can see, there's one cop car coming rather. It pulls over and it's waiting for the second. So it's not done yet. It's seeing the lights all the way behind it. And now that the second cop car passes through, and as you saw, it put the blinker a little bit ahead of time. Let me go back and show you that. It saw that the second cop car's coming. You see how the blinker came on before it passed? So it's starting to pass. Then the blinker came on, then the car went after the second cop car cleared. Millions of hours of training data around cop cars and emergency vehicles behaving around owners' cars, and then the actions that the owners took or didn't take train the car how to react with emergency vehicles. Here's another example with an emergency vehicle. This time it's a fire truck. This is from Nick Cruz Batain. V14 is incredible. You can see this is a super congested urban environment. The fire truck freaking stuck in place. So you got people trying to move out of the way. And then you can see that the car is attempting to nudge itself to the right to make some room. This car goes forward. The car starts to make room. It pulls over until the fire truck clears. And then once the fire truck has cleared, then it decides to move forward, and it knows to go around this traffic here because the other lane is going to be open because the fire truck was coming through it. And then one last example. This is again from Dirty Tesla, Chris. Here's another example of the car pulling over, and this is from a ambulance coming from very far away. I can't even see it on the screen right now. There it is. And it knows to pull over safely and basically stop for the ambulance to pass, and then it goes back on the road. So why is this such a big deal? And this is, I think, this is a story that very few people are really either grasping or or don't have the time to spend because this is so nerdy, is that the way Tesla is solving for self-driving has given them a very unique advantage in the marketplace versus every other company. Now, I've been studying Tesla since 2012. I've been an investor since then. I worked at the company from 17 to 21. So I want you to take what I say with a grain of salt. I want you to do your own research, but I think the outcome here is pretty obvious. And this is something that we've been talking about for a long time on the channel, which is Tesla has figured out how to generalize solving for self-driving to where they're going to have millions of vehicles per year doing this. The key thing to remember here is that the vehicles are doing this right now. All the videos that I showed you, the lowest price is $39,000 in the United States. A $39,000 car that Tesla is building 1.2 million units per year of are able to do these things. They are able to think. They're able to make decisions based on their surroundings, just like a human, because the advent of artificial intelligence. If I compare this to say how Waymo does it today, Waymo has an incredible set of technologies in their vehicles. I strongly urge everyone, if you're in Austin, LA, SF, Arizona, they're live in a bunch of different areas now. I encourage you to go either on the Waymo app or in the Uber app and try to get a Waymo so you can experience the technology for yourself. It is truly state-of-the-art, super sick stuff. But the core limitation that companies like Waymo have is that the solution they have used to arrive to self-driving has been very brute force. And what I mean by that is that they've spent the last 10 years or however long it's been, it's probably a little bit longer than 10 now, they have cobbled together a set of sensors. So things like LiDAR, radar, vision, ultrasonics, and a lot of heuristics, also known as human code, somebody sitting down and doing a bunch of code, plus artificial intelligence. They've morphed all the sensors together to figure out how to safely self-drive on the road. And the reason why they had to do that was because this technology, this artificial intelligence brain technology, wasn't really where it is now, where you can just dump a ton of data at an artificial intelligence with video of how people drive, and then the AI will figure out how to drive. And on top of that, Waymo is not really a car company. Waymo is a technology company. They've had to partner with other companies to get the cars to be able to collect the data they need to improve their vehicles. Waymo right now has 1,500 cars. They're partnering with Zeekr, which is a Chinese company, to get to about 10,000 units per year by the end of 2026. That's their goal. But think about the amount of data a company like Waymo can collect with 10,000 cars versus Tesla that has over 7 million cars on the road, and they're making 2 million cars per year on top of that. So there's a couple advantages here. You have a data advantage from the fleet of cars that you have, and then you have a technology advantage because you're using artificial intelligence to generalize all these actions. Nobody has to code it. You just send it to an AI brain to figure out how to do it. And then on top of that, these Model Ys that have FSD and the Model 3s as well that have FSD, basically their entire fleet's going to have this version in the coming months here as they update the software, probably by the end of the year. We'll see how long it takes them to do that. All these vehicles are going to be equipped with the proper software to execute these things, and they're only going to get better with data and with time. And this may sound like a promotional video for Tesla. It truly is not intended to be that at all. I'm not sponsored by Tesla. I'm not paid by Tesla in any way. I've never been paid by Tesla except when I worked for them from 2017 to 2021, but I didn't have this YouTube channel then. I just worked for Tesla. It's a story that I've followed very, very closely for a really long time. And this is something that we've tried to paint on this channel, that this is what's coming. It is coming. And now it's very obvious, at least to me, that it's here. It is here. It is not perfect. The users are reporting some brake stabbing issues. So there are situations where it was trying to be overly safe around pedestrians and it does some brake stabbing. So it's like a very quick, like, I'm not sure. So there's some hesitations here and there. There are some sort of things they have to clean up around the edges. None of it is unsafe. It's just kind of uncomfortable in some situations. And this is something Tesla has encountered with brand new revisions to their software, is that they have to smooth out the edges of the software. But that is not going to keep them from getting this software to be just as safe or safer than a human, and then upload that software suite to millions of cars. So what that likely means over time is that Tesla's going to have a car that won't require you to pay attention to take you from point A to point B. And if it's really safe and regulators allow them to do so, they can act as robotaxis, which is something that Tesla has launched in Austin and in the Bay Area of California, and will soon be in Arizona as well. They just got approval to run the robotaxi network. What this means is a driverless fleet of vehicles that don't require a driver, that are out there earning fares and sort of taking people from point A to point B, just like an Uber, but at a much lower cost than Uber because you no longer have to pay a driver. And the cost to maintain a Tesla vehicle is going to be much cheaper than the comparable car. The number I like to use is that an Uber driver, just their costs and their time is about $1.80, maybe $2. And then the difference between that and the fare that Uber collects, it's basically going to be split with profit for the driver and then also profit for Uber. Whereas Tesla, their cost to operate the same exact thing, it's going to be like 40 cents. 50 cents per mile, a fourth cheaper. And we can already see this in places like Austin, even in California, in the Bay Area, but especially in Austin, where a fare for a robotaxi in Austin is like $3 to go 3 miles, whereas for Uber, it's like $15, potentially even $20. That's because Tesla doesn't have the cost associated to a car with a driver. And this, of course, opens up the Pandora's box that says, if we no longer need drivers, what will drivers do over time? I just saw a video from Bernie Sanders yesterday that's talking about this issue. I encourage everybody to go listen to the video, not necessarily for the politics. There's a lot of like freaking, you know how these politicians are. There's always this posturing and garbage that they throw in there. But the overarching thesis is correct. You also had a post from Matt Walsh where Elon Musk replied to, talking about the same exact thing about artificial intelligence and disrupting labor. Complete opposite end of the spectrum, but they're coming at a similar conclusion. Again, a bunch of rhetoric bullshit that's part of that post too, but it's also correct. This technology, this disruption is inevitable, and there's nothing anybody can do because the technology is going to be so good and so cheap to run that it will catch fire regardless. And I don't want you to take that as investment or financial advice for Tesla specifically. I'm just purely talking about the technology here. It looks inevitable to me, at least. If you want to track those trends, I encourage you to go to farzad.fm, where I have my exclusive community, where we're going to track this very closely. We're going to talk about it every week with exclusive Q&As with myself and whatever else you'd like to talk about. I'm also going to have exclusive content on there. So make sure you go to the website to be notified once the website is live. And I'll continue to create a bunch of content around this topic, not just self-driving technology, but also humanoid robots and other impacts that we'll see from artificial intelligence. Tesla's kind of like a Trojan horse for AI in the real world, very similar to how ChatGPT was like the awakening for AI in the digital world. I strongly believe that Tesla is that same exact thing, but in the physical world. And it will start with self-driving cars. And I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. If you want to listen to more stuff like this, it's completely free, but it really helps me gain more visibility, and it would really mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informative and helpful, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.